So, you've probably played modded Minecraft before, and, you might have been wondering, how do I make a mod pack of my own? So, first things first, I'm going to be using Curse Forge for this, okay? Um, I gotta clean up my things. Anyways, we're going to be using Curse Forge. So, right now we're going to be talking about creating a project and, adding our first couple mods to it. Now, you see here, create. However, I actually do not recommend doing it this way. Instead, I go and find the mod, like the main mod you want. So, a lot of mod packs use create. So what I do is I click install. Now, I could pick any of my profiles, or I could create a new profile using NeoForge, because so if you want to use a newer version, you gotta use NeoForge, but if you're using like 1.16.4, you can use Forge. And for the sake of this, I'm actually going to be using 1.16.4, and I'm just going to call this project Teaching Modpack Development. So you go ahead and create that. Now, you have your project created, but there's no mods, nothing. So, the first step is adding content. So, first mods you should add are stuff like mouse tweaks, apple skin, just enough items. These are mods that do small things, but a lot of people like them. They are quality of life mods. Ooh, that's a new animation. That's cool. But you can also add performance mods, like here. Controlling, And let's just add a ton of mods that will add stuff to the game. We'll cover this mod in episode 2. So once you add those mods, you can load up. As you can see, it's loading up. Now, you might notice something. There's a lot of incompatibilities here, because of the Forge version being wrong. Now, I actually wasn't thinking, and yeah, this is my fault for sure. But, so there's errors loading mods. What you can do is, let's just do clone as. Actually, so what I'm going to do is, since this isn't compatible with a majority of mods I want to use, I'm going to delete it. And go back, get the main mod. Go to mods, get create. New profile. This time, go to like 1.18.2. Pretty stable version of Minecraft, so I think this will work. But the main struggles you're going to have with Modpack development is finding a version of Minecraft that stuff is compatible with. Because for some reason people uploaded mods saying they're for a certain version when they aren't actually compatible with that version. But we'll just go ahead, get a handful of cool mods, and just, once it finishes applying the patch, or incompatible mods, you are going to eventually have to pick and choose between mods if you're making a larger mod pack. Because of the fact that some mods just aren't compatible with each other, so you might have to choose one or the other. Okay, any time now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut this loading out. Alright, it should be loaded by now. I probably was away long enough for it to fully load. Okay, I was getting some water. Warning. This is actually new. So ferrite core is not installed. That's an issue with modern fix. However, that's just saying that like it'll use a lot of memory if you don't install ferrite core. And then lazy DFU is not installed. But those are not needed, you know? So we open up, so we're in our main menu. But you know, you go in, and, you know, allow sheets, game mode creative. Name it whatever. So, as the world loads up, I'm gonna tell you about something. So, as you know, mods are kind of like not unified. Like, sure, they have tags, which basically tell them, hey, this tells other mods that use, steel, that, hey, this is also a steel ingot, you should allow it in your recipe. Like, yeah, it's unified that way. However, mods are not unified completely. Anyways, as we look here, very nice. But if a mod adds titanium ore and another mod adds titanium ore, when you smelt them, they smelt down into two different items. And this can be a big problem because of the fact that, well, inventory cloggage and other stuff. So what we can do is head into here, add an ore called Javka. What Javka does is it adds, it at least starts to unify stuff. It will make all ore processing machines work on all ores. And like, you can cancel out the recipes, but I'll talk about how to do that later. But, you know, that becomes an issue. But we'll talk about that in a later episode. What's important right now is, you know, you've probably seen custom recipes and, you know, somehow they limit you to do stuff. Like maybe a modpack makes it so you can't even have more than 8 RPM, like only a water wheel only gives 8 RPM. So let me just show you how to do this. You can go to not client settings. If you go, I believe, no, do this, go, well, I think yeah, sorry, it's been forever since I've done this. So, quit game, and you're going to click on these 3 dots here, and go to open folder. This will bring up the folder for the mod pack itself. You know, you can see config, default configs, logs, etc. So, nothing in default configs, but in config, if you go to create common, I believe, so you don't need VS Code for this, you can just use a normal text editor, but VS Code makes it look better. So if you look here, you'll actually be able to see, like, different configs for create. However, like, this only is world gen, I think. I don't know which file it is for create. But essentially, using these, you're able to tweak mods. Some of these are persistent to all worlds, some of them aren't. Like, for example, if we go to Waystones, let's see if that helps. That did help. Okay, so it was just frozen, I think. So, this probably looks a little scary. Basically all of these are what tells it and whatnot. But like, for example, you could make waystones that generate automatically, like ones that spawn in villages and whatnot, indestructible. You can change the cooldown, you can change how much XP it takes, you know? But going back to Curse Forge, we are going to set up for next episode by even making our first quest. So we go into here, search up FTB, and look for quests. As you can see, that installs these two automatically because they're required for the mod to work. Let's go into the Modpack. It also installs this mod, which is actually pretty important. Okay, this is actually taking a while. So, now that Minecraft is loaded, we can go back into our world. And we go to second tab. Now we have FTB quests. Now most of these blocks do not matter. These two, to be fair, only matter if you have a preset map for your mod pack. So what I'd recommend is get a quest book. You can always access it up here, but a quest book is also nice. So, you go in and it's empty. Click this. Right. Oh. 1 second, did they... Oh, right. Now go here. Add a chapter. You know, actually, we'll do a chapter group. Call it The Beginning. This will add a tiny little group, and, you know, if we add we're just gonna add some example things to it. Magic and tech. Now you can switch between these. Now, here, you can put our first task, check mark. We'll call this starter kit, or something like that. And then we will make it give a pickaxe, a sword, bread. Set size is how many it gives. And then, I don't know. Yeah, that's it. We can turn off editing mode so that we're actually in the quest book. as you can see, we can actually collect our starter kit. Now, you're probably going to want this to be unclaimed for the points of, testing, right? So, you can go into here, reset progress, and then reset progress on all of these. Oh, that's odd. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with this version. But either way, that's going to be our first task. You might have to re-add the rewards or whatnot. Either way, that's how you make your first quest. And, you can try to make multiple if you want. Next video, we will go over dependencies, filters for quests to check if it's like any type of item. And, yeah. So, I'll catch you guys in the next one.